Imagine a young man, not yet 20, standing beneath the vast Roman sky, his eyes searching the heavens for meaning. One night, he witnessed a blazing comet streak across the darkness, a sign that would change his life forever. This is the story of Gaius Octavius, better known as Augustus, the first Roman emperor whose journey began with a single, extraordinary moment. He boldly claimed that the comet was the soul of Julius Caesar, his murdered great-uncle, ascending to the heavens to become a god. This daring declaration sent shockwaves through Rome, forever altering the course of its history. In the aftermath of Caesar's assassination, the city was thrown into chaos and uncertainty. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, recognized the deep Roman fascination with omens and the supernatural. He understood that to win Rome, he needed more than just armies. He needed a story that would inspire belief and loyalty. The comet became his symbol, the Sidus Julia, or Julian star, appearing on coins and monuments as a sign of divine favor. By linking himself to Caesar's divinity, Octavian transformed his own image, becoming the son of a god in the eyes of the people. In a city that had long despised kings and tyrants, this was a radical and risky move. Yet Octavian was a master of public relations, skillfully turning a shared celestial event into a powerful personal myth. He saw not just a star, but a chance to bind his fate to the destiny of Rome itself, forging a connection that would endure. This link between one ambitious man and the future of an empire became the very foundation of his rule and legacy. The story of the comet was retold and embellished, repeated until it became accepted as fact, shaping Augustus's image for centuries to come. The rise of Augustus and the dawn of a new era for Rome began with a single spectacular sign blazing across the night sky. The comet appeared in July 44 BC, just months after Caesar's death. Visible even in daylight for 7 days, its brilliance was so intense that it captured the attention of everyone in Rome, from the humblest citizen to the most powerful senator. The city had never seen anything quite like it. To Romans, comets were omens, not just astronomical events. They were believed to signal great change, disaster, or the will of the gods. The sudden appearance of this comet sent ripples of fear and wonder through the population. The city buzzed with awe and anxiety. Whispers spread through the markets and forums as people debated what the comet could mean for Rome's future. Octavian was hosting public games to honor Caesar, and the comet blazed above the crowds. The timing seemed almost supernatural, as if the heavens themselves were participating in the spectacle. He seized the moment, declaring the comet was Caesar's soul, now a god watching over Rome. Octavian's words echoed through the city, giving the people a sense of connection to their lost leader. This message comforted the people. Their leader hadn't left, but ascended. The idea that Caesar was now a divine protector brought hope and reassurance to a city still mourning his loss. Caesar's deification transformed him into Rome's eternal protector. Shrines and altars were dedicated to him, and his memory became sacred. Octavian, as his adopted son, became the Divi Filius, the son of a god. This new title elevated his status above all other Roman leaders. This title gave him unique legitimacy in a world where religion and politics were inseparable. It allowed him to claim a special destiny, one that was sanctioned by the gods themselves. Rivals like Mark Antony had military strength, but only Octavian claimed divine lineage. This distinction set him apart in the struggle for power. He minted coins with the Julian star, built temples, and spread the story relentlessly. The image of the comet became a powerful tool in his campaign. The comet became a cornerstone of his public image. It was a symbol that everyone could see and understand. Octavian's narrative turned a natural event into a political weapon. He used the comet to unite the people and legitimize his rule. The people embraced the myth, and Octavian's power grew. The story of the Julian star became part of Rome's identity. The Julian star was now a symbol of hope and a new era. It shone on banners, coins, and temples, reminding everyone of Rome's divine favor. Rome's destiny was written in the sky, and Octavian made sure everyone saw it. The comet's legacy would echo through history, forever linking the heavens with the fate of Rome. Before Augustus, he was Gaius Octavius, a young man from a respectable but unremarkable family. His mother was Caesar's niece, his connection to greatness. Caesar adopted him posthumously, making him heir at just 18. Suddenly, Octavian inherited Caesar's fortune, name, and the loyalty of his soldiers. Powerful men like Mark Antony underestimated him, seeing only a boy. Octavian was patient and shrewd, using his inheritance to win public and military support. He played rivals against each other, always presenting himself as Caesar's dutiful son. The public, weary of civil war, embraced his image of youthful piety. He formed and broke alliances, fought brutal wars, and never lost sight of his goal. The Julian star was his constant symbol, reminding Rome of his divine favor. Octavian's rise was a masterclass in ambition and political skill. Octavian's genius showed early. He embraced the name Caesar, tapping into the people's loyalty. He outmaneuvered Mark Antony, using his own money to fulfill Caesar's promises and win popular support. Octavian aligned with the Senate against Antony, then forced them to make him consul at 19. He formed the Second Triumvirate with Antony and Lepidus, hunting down Caesar's assassins. Together they purged enemies and consolidated power ruthlessly. Octavian stayed in Italy, championing traditional Roman values, while Antony allied with Cleopatra. He used propaganda to paint Antony as a traitor, positioning himself as Rome's true defender. Every move was calculated to build his brand and undermine his rivals. Octavian's political maneuvering set the stage for his ultimate victory. In Rome, symbols were a language. Coins, statues, and omens shaped public opinion. The Julian star was Octavian's most powerful symbol, linking him to Caesar's divinity. Every coin with a star reminded Romans of his divine right to rule. The comet tapped into beliefs about fate and destiny. Octavian declared it a sign of a new golden age. This narrative was irresistible to a war-weary population. The star set Octavian apart from rivals. None had such a recent spectacular sign. Poets and historians wove the comet into Rome's mythology. Statues of Caesar with the star above his head reinforced the message. The symbol helped shift Rome from suspicion of strongmen to acceptance of a divinely chosen leader. Octavian was no longer just a politician. He was a man of destiny. The star legitimized the birth of the empire. Rome's future was now tied to one man and one symbol. The Julian star changed how Romans saw power itself. After defeating Antony and Cleopatra, Octavian emerged as the unrivaled master of the Roman world. The civil wars had ended, but the real test was just beginning: how to transform victory into lasting power. Octavian faced a new challenge, ruling the vast empire without appearing to be a king. Romans had a deep-seated hatred of monarchy, shaped by centuries of republican tradition and the memory of tyrants. So, Octavian cleverly disguised his power behind the familiar forms of the old republic, making sure not to alarm the Senate or the people. In 27 BC, he orchestrated what became known as the First Settlement, a masterstroke of political theater. He dramatically returned his extraordinary powers to the Senate, pretending to step back from absolute control. The Senate, both grateful and indebted for the peace he had brought, responded with overwhelming support. They begged him to remain at the helm and honored him with a new title, Augustus, the Revered One, a name that suggested both respect and something almost divine. Augustus kept the outward forms of the Republic alive, holding regular meetings and respecting old customs. But in reality, he controlled all the real levers of power, commanding the provinces, the legions, and the most important offices of state. He called himself princeps, or first citizen, a title that suggested humility and equality with his fellow Romans. This maintained the illusion that all citizens were still equal, even as Augustus quietly held supreme authority. The people, weary of chaos and bloodshed, accepted this carefully crafted fiction in exchange for peace, prosperity, and stability. Augustus ushered in the Pax Romana, a golden age that ended a century of civil war and uncertainty. He rebuilt the city of Rome, reformed the army, and created an efficient administration that would last for generations. The story of the Comet, his adopted father's soul ascending to the heavens, remained central, justifying his unique and elevated position. Augustus was not just a ruler, he was a symbol, a living link between Rome and the divine. He was the man chosen by fate, heralded by a star, destined to lead Rome into a new era. The empire was built on peace, stability, and the promise of a brighter future. Order, law, and a powerful myth bound the people together and gave Rome its strength. Rome's new age had a divine foundation, and Augustus stood at its very heart. Augustus's reign transformed Rome. He claimed to find it brick and leave it marble. He launched massive building projects, temples, theaters, aqueducts, and the Forum of Augustus. These monuments were propaganda, physical reminders of peace and prosperity. Statues depicted him as eternally youthful, almost godlike. The Ara Pacis celebrated the abundance of his age, with Augustus and his family at its heart. The imperial cult grew, especially in the eastern provinces, uniting the empire in loyalty. The Julian star was the origin story of this cult, linking the ruling family to the divine. When Augustus died, the Senate declared him a god, just as he had done for Caesar. The boy who claimed a star became a god himself. His new system of government endured for centuries. Augustus's legacy, peace, empire, and the power of a single brilliant symbol. Behind the divine image, Augustus was a complex, often troubled man. He lived simply, suffered poor health, and faced family tragedies. His heirs died young, and his daughter was exiled. He was forced to adopt Tiberius, a reluctant successor. Augustus could be cold and ruthless, rising through civil war and purges. He balanced public benevolence with private calculation. His patience and cunning were legendary. He waited years to strike at enemies. Augustus's achievements are more remarkable for his humanity and flaws. He used every tool, military, political, religious, to secure his rule. The myth of the comet was his greatest creation, but the real man built the empire. Augustus's story is more than legend. It's a lesson in the power of narrative. He authored his own ascent, making the Julian star a symbol of peace and divine favor. His reign set the standard for centuries, shaping Western civilization. The systems he built became the backbone of empire and law. Even the month of August bears his name, a daily reminder of his impact. Augustus turned chaos into order, not just with armies, but with ideas. His use of the comet was a masterclass in political storytelling. The tale of the boy who saw a star and became a god endures as a testament to ambition and myth. Augustus's legacy invites us to look deeper into history's turning points. The light of his story still shines, reminding us how symbols can change the world.